There has been over 29 Pixar movies, and there's been a lot of iconic Pixar villains out there. So today I'm going to be ranking who is the worst Pixar villain, the absolute dog crap, and who is the creme de la creme, the best of Pixar villains. Let's just get into it. To start it off, the last place villain has to be Sir Miles Axelrod from Cars 2.
Thank you, Mel. It is very, very good to be here. Now listen to me. Big oil. It costs a fortune. Alternative energy is the future.
You know how much I hate Cars 2, and I just don't like that movie whatsoever. Throughout that whole movie, I still don't understand what was his master plan throughout that whole thing. He creates this race to then blow up other people's tires based off the fuel they're using, so the cars could get a different fuel that he owns instead. It just makes no sense. Do I even need to explain more on why he's the worst villain? Next, we have Thunderclap, which is the villain of The Good Dinosaur. He just served no purpose throughout this whole movie.
Thunderclap, more like fucking clap. This character sucks.
The Good Dinosaur wasn't the best Pixar movie that we already have, so to be honest, having a whack villain on top of that, I can't even explain why he's just a bad villain. He just serves no purpose throughout the whole movie. I'd rather see paint dry than see the Good Dinosaur with this Thunderclap villain. Moving on, we're going to Lightyear. The villain of this movie has to be Zurg. I'm not talking about Toy Story, I'm talking about the Lightyear movie. Zurg is this big robot and you're supposed to fear him and be scared, and turns out it's just Lightyear himself, Buzz Lightyear. To be specific, elderly Buzz. It could have been anybody else, but they chose Buzz to be the villain. Zurg, Buzz, just go in the trash at this point. We're now just going to Incredibles 2, the Screen Slaver, aka the bootleg Riddler from Batman.
No! Oh!
Hypnotizing people through TVs. Really clever, I gotta give it to it. Then turns out the Screen Slaver was just being hypnotized by somebody else, and I wonder who could that be. Evelyn Endeavor, aka Evil Endeavor, if you just say it really fast. Just why? Going to Brave and seeing the character Mordu as the villain with just as a big bear. Nothing else, just a bear that likes to attack. I mean, if it was real life, I'll be scared. Don't get me wrong, top tier villain. But for an animated movie, Boog from Open Season is more scarier than this. The bully in Monsters University, Johnny Worthington, played by Nathan Fillion, is just hilarious.
You want us to stop raising money for charity? That's not cool.
This guy hates.
He's known as the top frat guy, the bully of the whole group. I mean, the stuff that he pulled against Mike and Sully and everybody at Uzma Kappa, Chef's Kiss, bravo. That's messed up.
Don't take the loss too hard. You never belonged here anyway.
And I mean, speaking of bullies, Ercole Viscotti from Luca, I mean, he is a straight up bully, punching Alberto in the chest. That's messed up right there. I mean, yeah, there was no character development. We just saw his bully side, but you know what? Maybe that's all we need to see. Luca is underrated though. When going to the Toy Story universe, you can't forget the iconic villain, you could say, Sid. I mean, I don't know what he was doing with those dolls every time, but they were just transforming to some crazy creatures. I mean, I think even Woody became a villain at one point because he straight up scared the crap out of Sid. We also can't forget that Sid's a kid. He's just trying to explore new things. Yes, he had that skull on his chest. If Woody didn't scare him, he could honestly become the next Einstein for all we know. But you know, we saw him in Toy Story 3. All I know is that Sid probably had a lot of therapy talking about Woody saying, "So play nice." Woody is now the main villain of Toy Story, confirmed. Ruined a whole child's life. But now we're getting on to the good Pixar villains, the one that actually holds some strength in the movie. And one of them has to be Chef Skinner from the movie Ratatouille. Honestly, Ratatouille is one of my favorite Pixar films ever made. I did do a whole ranking of every Pixar movie if you want to check that out. But something about Chef Skinner just says this. He just wants to keep his restaurant nice and clean, no rats allowed. Of course, Ratatouille is set in Paris, in Gusteau's restaurant. He's just trying to branch off different things, making sure that Gusteau name still stays intact. He's a chef with a short temper. I don't know what else you could say about him. Ratatouille is still one of those movies that we absolutely love. One of the best Pixar movies ever made. Now moving on to the Cars franchise, Cars 3's Jackson Storm. He was technically like a villain, but he was also a competitor. Lightning McQueen always trying to win the races. Jackson Storm comes in, all of a sudden the next generation. Then Lightning McQueen has to train like these next generation racers. All Jackson Storm really wanted to do was win, and I don't think there's nothing wrong about that. Honestly, when watching Cars 3 again, I think that Jackson Storm should have won the whole thing. Overall, Jackson Storm is a great racer, and I don't think we can discriminate them as a villain. But don't get me wrong, still better than the previous villains that we already talked about. Now I'm talking about my favorite villain. Yes, he's my favorite, but that doesn't mean he's the best villain. Ernesto de la Cruz from the movie Coco. If you've seen it, you already know that plot twist. He really poisoned the homie Hector for no reason. All he really wanted was the songs, and Hector said, no, Ernesto, you gotta respect the rules, for crying out loud. It's called respect. And not only did he mess mess up Hector's life, he also was about to throw Miguel off the roof. I don't even know what was going on through Ernesto's mind, but all I gotta say is that mariachi suit he was wearing, fire. We already know that Coco 2 is already announced, so if Ernesto comes back somehow, some way, I'm here for it. And that movie releases in 2029. GTA 6 probably still won't be out by then. Ernesto is still the GOAT though. If I'm talking about the Cars franchise, we already got Jackson Storm, we already got Sir Axel Rob, but we can't forget the iconic Chick Hicks. Cars 1, I love that movie, the best movie out of the Cars franchise. He's a way better competitor than Jackson Storm. He has his iconic catchphrase.
I'll give you the forecast. 100% chance of thunder. Gajiga, gajiga.
There's nothing that you could hate about the guy other than he's just there to win. Yes, he did mess up Dynaco and he did mess up the King's last race. He did like literally make him crash. I don't know if there's a car jail or something like a junkyard, but you know what? All I know is that Chick Hicks was just crazy in this film. And the fact that not many people talk about the King Chick Hicks is just disrespectful, and people have to put a name on Chick himself. If Chick Hicks is not in Cars 4, I don't know what's going on. If you're new to the channel, my favorite Pixar movie is WALL-E, and one of the reasons why is because of the robot Otto. I don't know if it's a scary robotic voice.
Sir, I insist you give me the planet.
Yes, don't get me wrong, of course he's programmed to guide the ship to space and not return back to Earth. So now my real question is, who programmed him? That's the real villain we're talking about now. I think it's that little cockroach that WALL-E's been hanging around throughout the whole movie. He is onto something, I swear. Otto, you cool in my book. I know you have a manual switch. That's how easily you got defeated, but you know what? It's okay. One of my favorite villains throughout the Toy Story franchise has to be Stinky Pete.
Or you can stay with us and last forever.
From Toy Story 2 to be exact. He did foreshadow what was gonna happen in Toy Story 3 with the whole garbage scene. He was a plot twist villain, but overall he was just a nice guy in the beginning, wanted the best for everybody. But then the more you watch Toy Story 2, you start to realize that this dude is just straight up bad news. I still don't know why he's called Stinky Pete, even though he's just a minor. No Kendrick, but the point is he was just a good villain overall. For Randall to be one of those villains, if you saw Monster University, he was a sincere guy, he was sweet. Then when you see Monsters Inc., he's just the #1 hater. He literally started off as Mike Wazowski's roommate. This dude has no chill whatsoever in Monsters Inc. I mean, yeah, he does have the ability to turn invisible whenever and wherever, so you gotta watch your back at all times, which he shows in Monsters Inc. He could be here right now and we would never know. Bah! But speaking of Monsters Inc., there's 2 villains in this movie. Technically, you got Randall and you also got Henry J. Waternoose III. He runs the whole company, Monsters Inc. For crying out loud, he is Monsters Inc. All he wants is to get Scream energy from the children to produce in the Monstropolis world. And yes, the Scream energy wasn't doing enough, so that's why he had to ask Randall to create this whole like vacuumnator, like some Dr. Doofenshmirtz invention. He was just a mastermind behind everything, and yeah, he did get arrested, and you know, for good reason. He did push Mike and Sully into the snowland to just stay there, and you know, yeah, so I think Waternoose ain't getting out of jail anytime soon. Great villain though. Hopper from A Bug's Life has to be the most underrated villain that I have seen, and not many people talk about him enough. Hopper is like this dictator and tries to rule over the ants, even though the ants could easily, you know, just get him at any point in time. Hopper just wants to be this threatening grasshopper, which the ants are scared of, which I get it, but also come on. Good villain, but also could be better. Now we're moving on to the final 3 Pixar villains, and in this category, you gotta be the best of the best, threatening, demanding. I wanna have nightmares because of how serious this villain is. I'm kidding, this is a Pixar movie for crying out loud. But number 3, I have to go with Toy Story 3's villain, Lotso the Hugging Bear. Lotso is one of those villains where his voice is just so nice and calm and warming.
Well, hello there. I thought I heard new voices. Welcome to Sunnyside.
I mean, then when you realize the true side of him and his backstory, because his backstory is pretty sad, got left and abandoned, he got replaced by Lotso. But then when he's introducing himself in front of Woody and everybody else, like you see him like he's a nice guy, a nice bear, smelling like strawberries. Then throughout the movie, you realize the truth about him. He's absolutely psycho. Literally after everything that Woody and Buzz been through, literally saved Lotso's life, he still chooses to leave them. That's why he's one of the top 3 villains. He's ruthless. He does not care about anybody or anything. He was even rude to the baby. Don't do the baby like that, and don't even do my boy Ken like that. I am Knuff. But for second place, the silver medal, I have to go with Charles Muntz from the movie Up. Pixar has always been on point with their twist villains. This was Carl Fredrickson's hero, adventurous out there himself. Then he switched up all of a sudden when he saw Kevin, not the minion, I'm talking about the bird. You can't forget the underdogs, literally dogs, Alpha, and the rest of the dogs that he owns. own, but honestly, his obsession with exploring like caused him to do some evil stuff. That was not the way to go, Charles, but honestly, second place ain't that bad. If you're a huge Pixar fan, you already know what the #1 villain is. Syndrome from the movie Incredibles is the best, the ultimate Pixar villain. He wanted to be a superhero. He wanted to be Incrediboy, which is honestly a stupid name. No wonder why Mr. Incredible wanted him to, like, you know, move along. He literally made it his life's goal to take out every superhero possible for him to be the world's only hero, so people could finally look up to him and him only. Selfish. He literally created these robots, Omni droids, to defeat and literally kill the superhero. He has a whole lair. He has his sidekick. Someone got to drop his hair routine. I don't know if he wants to make a YouTube channel about it, but someone just has to leak it. Overall, just the perfect Pixar villain that I don't think could ever be topped. To be honest, I know there's more villains, but honestly, they don't even deserve to be on the list. These are the main villains in the Pixar universe. But you let me know in the comments below, is my ranking accurate to yours? Remember, this is just my opinion. If you like this video and you want more rankings, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button and join the Blockbuster family. I love you all. Also, I made a clips channel if you want to check that out. Link in the description. But just to wrap things up, I hope you have a good one and take care.